Hello friends. So today we are going to see about the subject mechanics of solid MOS. Out of that, today we are going to learn longitudinal strain and lateral strain. Okay. So in the previous lectures we have seen material properties, classification of material. After that we have seen simple stress. After that we have seen simple strain. So today we are going to see longitudinal strain and lateral strain. So also we have discussed about the types of stresses, types of strains, and classifications, how the concept of stress, concept of strain we have discussed in the previous lectures. So what is the use of this longitudinal strain and lateral strain? So we are going to discuss in today's lecture. Okay. So presentation outlines. So in this presentation, introduction to longitudinal and lateral strain we are going to study, as well as we are going to study the relationship between stress and strain for single dimension system, one dimension system of stresses. Here, before going to study the lateral strain and longitudinal strain, we have already studied the simple stress and simple strain. And with that simple stress and simple strain for the single dimensional system, direction system, what is the relationship between stress and strain? We need to study, and it is debates upon the Hooke's law. It is depends upon the Hooke's law. Already we have seen in the previous classes. So why I am repeating this part here, because this is the relationship is developed for the normal stress in one direction. Normal stress in one direction. So what will be the change? What will be the change in the normal stress in two-dimensional system? Two direction system. What will be the change in the normal stress in three-dimensional system? So for that we need to study lateral strain and longitudinal strain. So before going to study the lateral strain and longitudinal strain, we should know the relationship between stress and strain. So it is depends upon the Hooke's law. Hooke's law states that when a material is loaded within the elastic limit, the stress is proportional to strain produced by the stress. So here the stress is directly proportional to the strain within the elastic limit, which is produced due to the stress. This means that the ratio of normal stress to the corresponding strain is constant within the elastic limit. So here normal stress ratio of normal stress to the corresponding strain is the constant within the elastic limit. So it is constant here within the elastic limit. The ratio of that normal stress and corresponding strain is constant, and this constant is represented by E, and it is known as modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus of elasticity. Okay, so within the elastic limit, the ratio of stress to the corresponding strain is constant. That constant is represented by capital E, and it is called as modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus of elasticity. So constant is equals to normal stress to the corresponding strain. Here, that is constant is represented, that is modulus of elasticity is represented by capital E, which is equals to sigma by E. So sigma stands for normal stress, E stands for strain, small e stands for strain, and capital E stands for Young's modulus. It can be also written as small e is equals to sigma upon capital E, that is strain is equals to stress upon modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus capital E. Okay, so this is the relationship between stress strain for one direction system of stress. So the above equation gives the stress strain relation for the normal stress in one direction, only for one direction. So later we will see for what will be the change in the relationship between two-dimensional system and three-dimensional system. Okay, so So we are going to discuss about the two-dimensional and three-dimensional in next lectures. So before going to start, remember this: if the problem is asked for one-dimension system, the stress strain relationship is E is small capital E is equals to, that is modulus of elasticity, Young's modulus of elasticity is equals to stress upon strain, that is normal stress to the corresponding strain. So this is, you have to remember for one direction system. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the longitudinal strain. So what is meant by longitudinal strain? So already in the previous lectures we have studied what is meant by stress, what is meant by strain. Already we have discussed all those things. So now again, what is this longitudinal strain? So here we'll discuss about the longitudinal strain. When a body is subjected to an axial tensile load, there is an increase in length of the body, but at the same time there is a decrease in other dimension of the body at the right angles to the line of action of the applied load. Thus, the body is having axial deformation and also deformation at right angles to the deformation of the applied load, that is lateral strain. So what is actually mean by longitudinal strain? So here in this image you can understand a body is there, or suppose a rectangular specimen is there, which is pulled by two sides. Okay. So what happens here? Due to the force applied on this body, there is an elongation in the body. There is an elongation in the length. That is, extension in the length is there. Okay. So this is the longitudinal strain. Okay. This is the longitudinal strain. And what happens when the body is pulled in opposite direction? When the elongation develops in the body, at the same time what happens? There is decrease in the area. Here you can see, due to elongation there is decrease in the area, cross-sectional area. So here small b is the original size of the member, and b dash is the changed size of the member, that is dotted line. The dotted line is shown here. From all four sides the body is reduced due to the elongation and due to the force. Elongation develops, and due to elongation there is a reduction in the area, cross-sectional area. So that is the thing happens in the longitudinal strain. Okay. So what happens? What is meant by longitudinal strain? So the ratio of axial deformation to the original length of the body is known as longitudinal or linear strain. It can also be called as linear strain. Means what? The ratio of axial deformation to the original length means only change in length. So I have denoted here the change in length by delta L. So this is the longitudinal strain. Okay, change in length to the original length. So this is about the longitudinal strain. So the longitudinal strain is also defined as the deformation of the body per unit length in the direction of applied load. That's what? The longitudinal strain is also defined as deformation of the body per unit length. The deformation is per unit length in the direction of applied load. So remember that longitudinal strain is always parallel to the force. Let us assume here, see, capital L is equals to length of the body, capital P is equals to tensile force acting on the body, and delta L is increase in length of the body in the direction of P. Okay, so actually in this is the force P, two forces P are there. Okay, same forces are applied on opposite sides. Okay, it is pulled by the force P. The specimen is pulled by force P. So longitudinal strain is equals to delta L, that is change in length, divided by the original length. So this is about the longitudinal strain. So already you have written here one thing, that is lateral strain. So thus the body is having axial deformation and also deformation at right angles to the deformation of the applied load, that is lateral strain. So longitudinal strain means what? Delta L divided by capital L, that is original length. Change in length to the original length is the longitudinal strain. What is mean by lateral strain? Lateral strain is here, that is there is a reduction in the area. There is a reduction in the area. So that reduction in the area to the original area, or we can say reduction in the B to the original B. Okay, original size B to the delta B, we can say delta B. Okay, so this is about the lateral strain. Next we'll see in detail about the lateral strain. So lateral strain is the strain at a right angles to the direction of applied load is known as lateral strain. So what is mean by lateral strain? So longitudinal strain is in the direction of the force, and what is mean by lateral strain is right angle to the force, or right angle to the longitudinal force. Longitudinal strain is nothing but lateral strain, we can say. Let us consider, we'll see an example in this image. Let us consider a rectangular bar of length capital L. So see, this is the original bar that is having a length capital L, breadth B, breadth is equals to B of that section B, and depth D. This is the depth D. Okay, which is subjected to an axial tensile load P as shown in figure. Okay, so this is the body, and which is subjected to the axial force, that is P, in both the direction. Okay, so this is about the specimen having applied force, that is tensile force is applied on the body, having a cross-sectional area B into D and having length L. So the length of the bar will increase while the breadth and depth will be decrease. Here you can see. So what happens here? Because of the force P applied to the body, there is decrease in the cross-sectional area. And increase in the length. So L is the original length, capital L is the original length. Change in length is equals to L plus delta L. So this is delta L and this is delta L. Okay, so this delta L1 plus delta L2 plus L is the change in length. L plus delta L, that is change in length plus original length, is the changed dimension of the specimen in length. So simultaneously, what happens when the length is increased, at the same time cross-sectional area is decreased here, you can see. So original breadth of the section is B and depth of the section is D. So what happens here, due to the force applied P, so it is reduced by D minus delta D. So this is the change in length, change in cross-sectional area, that is delta D. And at the same time breadth is also changed, that is original breadth is B and change in breadth is equals to B minus delta B. So this is about the change in cross-sectional area. So what happens at this, when the force is applied, when length is increased, cross-sectional area is decreased here, we can see that. And this delta B and delta D is nothing but lateral strain. So here let us see delta L is the increase in length. Here we have assumed delta B is decrease in breadth. Here we have seen delta B decrease in breadth, and delta D is decrease in depth. So then longitudinal strain is equals to what happens, we have seen in the previous slide, delta L divided by L, capital L, that is change in length to the original length. And at the same time, what happens due to this change in length, change in breadth and change in depth is also there. Okay, deformation in cross-sectional area is also there. So lateral strain is equals to delta B divided by original breadth B, that is change in breadth divided by original breadth, or change in depth divided by original depth, that is delta D upon D. So this is the lateral strain. This is the lateral strain, and it is in right angle to the longitudinal strain. It is right angle. So this is the direction of change in length, and it is right angle to the longitudinal strain. So this is about the lateral strain. This is about the lateral strain. So one note is there: if longitudinal strain is tensile, the lateral strain will be compressive. So remember that when longitudinal strain is tensile, the lateral strain will be compressive. Vice versa, if longitudinal strain is compressive, the lateral strain will be tensile. Lateral strain will be tensile. See, means what? When you are going to pull, there will be reduction in the cross-sectional area. And when you are going to push the body, means compression, when the specimen is under compression, the lateral strain will be tensile. So there will be increase in the cross-sectional area. There will be increase in the cross-sectional area. Therefore, that the specimen, the lateral strain will comes under tension. Lateral strain will comes under tension. Okay. So this is about the two notes, and one more note here is hence longitudinal strain in the direction of load is accompanied by lateral strains of the opposite kind in all directions perpendicular to the load. Okay, so if the lateral strains are always perpendicular in opposite kind of all directions. Okay, remember this. So these are the notes you have to remember. Now we'll see Poisson's ratio. What is mean by Poisson's ratio? So Poisson's ratio is the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain is constant for given material when the material is stressed within the elastic limit. The ratio is called Poisson's ratio. This ratio is called Poisson's ratio. So, and it is generally denoted by mu. Hence, mathematically, Poisson's ratio is explained like mu is equals to lateral strain upon longitudinal strain. So it is the ratio. So what is meant by Poisson's ratio? Poisson's ratio is nothing but it is the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain within the elastic limit. When the material is stressed within the elastic limit, this ratio, lateral strain and longitudinal strain is called as a Poisson's ratio. So, or lateral strain can, so this equation can also be written is the mathematical formula like mu multiplied by longitudinal strain. Mu multiplied by longitudinal strain. Mu multiplied by longitudinal strain. Okay. So this denominator will goes up in the numerator. So lateral strain is equals to mu multiplied by longitudinal strain. So as lateral strain is opposite in sign, as lateral strain is opposite in sign to longitudinal strain, hence algebraically lateral strain is written as lateral strain is equals to minus mu into longitudinal strain. Okay, why a minus sign is introduced here? So we have to write a minus sign. We have to use the minus sign because the lateral strain is opposite in sign to longitudinal strain. It is not same. It is not same. The lateral strain is opposite in sign to the longitudinal strain. So algebraically it is written as minus mu. That is minus Poisson's ratio. Minus sign is used here. Minus mu into longitudinal strain. That is lateral strain. So this is about the Poisson's ratio. This is about the Poisson's ratio. So this is these are the things we have studied in the today's lecture is so relationship between stress and strain for one direction system of stress. So to study the two-dimensional and three-dimensional system, we should know what is meant by lateral strain and longitudinal strain. So that's why in today's lecture we are going to see the we have seen the longitudinal strain, what is meant by longitudinal strain, what is meant by lateral strain, and what is meant by Poisson's ratio. What is meant by Poisson's ratio? So these are the three terms are required to study before going to study the two-dimensional and three-dimensional system of stresses. So today we have seen. So in next lecture we'll continue with the two-dimensional system of stresses and three-dimensional system of stresses. Thank you.